What is the master key to playing trumpet with ease? There are a lot of techniques that we need to practice as trumpet players, including finger technique, articulation studies, and many other techniques. But the one you want to spend a lot of your time on is flexibility studies. There are two types of flexibility exercises that a trumpet player can practice. One is the lip slur, and another is the lip bend. Using the word lip is a little misleading in this case because the way that we change notes is not by the lips, actually, it's by changing the tongue level. And tongue level is one of the core parts of trumpet playing. So if you don't know, the core parts of trumpet playing are wind power, tongue level, wind control, fingers of the right hand, the left hand, muscles of the face, and the lips. All of these are important and they work together. But today I'm going to focus on wind power, tongue level, and wind control. When you add these up, you get flexibility on the trumpet. Now, what is the tongue used for in trumpet playing? Really everything. We use the tongue levels to play in the extreme high register and the extreme low register and everything in between. We use the tongue for slurs and trills. Check this out. And we use the tongue for fine tuning. Yes, we move our slide to tune our instruments, but after that, we're playing with people and we use our ears and we use our tongue to fine tune. Right here, my tuning slide is set, but I'm making adjustments by listening and by adjusting the tongue up and down, back and forth. You can do the same thing. Now right here, I'm really exaggerating for the purposes of demonstration, but I want you to see that you have a lot of room that you can play with. None of these things can happen without involvement from the tongue. And for this reason, it's important that we learn how to master the tongue levels. Now today, I'm going to teach you 3 levels of trumpet flexibility exercises that you can practice. And they're simply the beginner level, the intermediate level, and the advanced level. And after that, I'm going to teach you how to bend notes, just in case you don't already know. These are great things to practice. They'll help your trumpet playing in all areas. If you're somebody who wants to improve your range, practice lip slurs. If you're someone who wants to be more flexible, we'll practice these exercises that I'm about to show you. And if you want to improve in your endurance, you want to also practice lip flexibility. I want to take a second right now to talk about endurance very briefly. One way to improve your endurance is to improve your strength. But the other side of the same coin is to improve your flexibility. I teach about this further in my brand new book called Master Your Endurance on Trumpet. It's a free download and it's available to you right now. In the comments section, go ahead and click the link and get that guide. It's very helpful. All right, let's get into our first flexibility study of the day. This one's for beginners. The purpose of all of these exercises is to get familiar with the tongue levels. As you do these exercises, a natural byproduct of practicing is that you'll become more flexible, and yes, you'll even improve in your strength. Now, this happens over time. So the most important thing that you can do is show up every day and do the work. Remove the emotion from practice, then you'll reach your goals. All right, let's get it. All right, here I have a flexibility study for beginners. I've started with G and we're going to slide down to C. If this is brand new to you, what you're going to want to do is just play a G and then slide down into the C. Let me say that a different way. To go from a higher note to a lower note, you're going to slightly slow your wind down so that you can fall into that lower note. Another thing that you can do is slightly lower your tongue so that you can fall into the lower note. Try one or the other. Sometimes we need to do both. As you begin to practice this, you won't even think about it. It'll be second nature. Something that we do to vocalize this is to say E for the higher note and Ah for the lower note. So it's E, ah. I don't know if I'm singing the right pitches, but they're relative to each other. E, ah, E for the high note, ah for the low note. All right, I'm going to play these. E, ah. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm doing inside of my mouth. Now be sure to take your time here. We're not in a hurry at all. The most important thing that we can do at this point is just to be aware of the tongue levels. As you become comfortable, then you can play these in time for a few minutes. And then when you become comfortable with the position that of the tongue levels, then you can go ahead and add the 7 positions and play through all 7 positions. It'll sound something like this. And so you just do that 4, 8 times, and then you change positions. Same thing with that, and then you do all 7 positions. All right, I'm going to move on now. All right, once you get comfortable with that in all 7 positions, then you can go from the bottom up. Now, what's the key to going from a low note to a high note? Well, we do the same thing we just did in the previous exercise, but in reverse. If I'm honest, it's a little easier to fall down into a note than it is to shift up to a note or slide up to a note. So on a low note again, we say ah, and on the higher note we say e. So you do that in one breath. Ah, e. Be sure that you do not re-articulate for the top note. That's cheating in this case. We're working on flexibility. So the wind, so the tongue level is what makes the note change, along with the increase of wind power. It's only a slight increase in both. It's a slight change in the tongue. It's a slight increase in wind power. But that's why there's an accent on the second note, just to remind you. Now, if I'm honest, as you get better at this, you can forget about the accent. But while you're learning, this could be helpful for you. Let me play this example. And just like before, you go through the 7 positions. All 7 positions. So once you're comfortable taking your time, learning what it feels like for the shift, then you can play in time slowly, but in time. Exercise number 2 here on the screen. And after you're comfortable doing that in all 7 positions in time, then go ahead and do exercise number 3. All right. Now at this point, we want to practice in time. Exercise number 3. Once you're comfortable with exercise number 3, slide down to what I have labeled here as group B. And then you'll just repeat the entire process that we just practiced, but for group B. So we're up on the next partial, which is C falling down to G. which is exactly what we did in exercise number 1 here. Stay there until you're comfortable. Once you're comfortable, move on to the next partial, which is G up to C. Repeat that as many times as necessary. Now, I'm kind of going quickly through this, but this might take you a week. It might take someone else 2 days. It might take someone else 10 minutes. So just take your time, however long it takes for you. It's not a big deal how long it takes, as long as you get the technique. So then after that, you go and you put them together, as I have written here. So G, C, G, C. Sorry, I cracked on that. All right, that's group B. And then you would advance to group C, which is the same idea, but on a higher partial. So E, fall down to C. Repeat as many times as needed. And then you move on to the next C up to E. And then you put them together. And when you're comfortable with the movement, then you put it to a metronome. All right, so that you can make sure that you can control it in time. All right, so that's what I would call a beginner level flexibility study. All right, let's move on to the intermediate level flexibility study. Now, a good book to practice intermediate or even beginner and intermediate, it kind of crosses over. A good book to practice from is the Earl Irons 27 group of exercises. It's one of my favorite books. And if you buy that book and practice it, you'll find something like this right here. So now we got key signatures. You got to think about that. But really, just keep your valves down. Make sure that you observe the fingering, whatever is written. So, like for example, right here, I have 1, 2, and 3 written there for you. So just always observe that. All right. So now let's play intermediate exercises through all 7 positions. And then make sure you do all 7 positions. So here we started in 7th position, so we're going to go up to 6th. I'll play the next one and then we'll move on. Man, that feels good on the face. That feels good on the face. Now, I feel like I need to talk about something. The way I'm sitting for this video setup is not ideal. When you're practicing trumpet, period, you want to not have your chin down like I am. So I'm sorry, but don't follow my lead on this one. But make sure that you're sitting tall. Okay, so you want everything here to be open so that you can play freely. All right, so that's one exercise. Let's go to what I labeled as exercise 2. Now you see we're getting a little more advanced. We're adding 8th notes now. And at this point, we should be well aware of the tongue levels. So at this point, the wind power is lining up with the tongue level. The tongue level is allowing us to have wind control. All right, so let's play through exercise number 2 really quick. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. right, so I think this is a good time to talk about breath control. So for me, at that tempo, I needed to snag a couple of breaths. Now, if I'm honest, I could practice this and maybe get better breath control and play all of it in one breath, but that's something we work toward. That's something we practice toward. Another option would be to speed up the tempo, but don't speed up the tempo and compromise being clean. Uh, don't compromise having clean shifts in the tongue. All right. Let's practice what I'm calling advanced lip flexibilities. Matter of fact, a great book to practice from would be Advanced Lip Flexibilities by Dr. Charles Colin. All right. Or is it Colin? I don't know. Colin. So at this point, we have control, but we're practicing going from in the staff to below the staff and above the staff with one set. And we want to stay loose. We want to stay free. That's why practicing flexibilities can help you with your range on the trumpet. You don't have to practice multiple sets. You practice one set and you get through all of the registers with one set embouchure. All right, let's look at example number 1 here. The first thing you want to do is just get familiar with the exercise, and then you can put it to a click. Now, here's an advanced technique that I learned from my teacher. Shout out to Jeff Pirtle. At the last note, it's okay to shift down into the pedal register to promote relaxation. As you get relaxed, that's a really good thing because when you play in the upper register, you'll learn how to be relaxed. And then you would just go through all 7 positions and do the same thing. Let's do that right now with second position. That feels so good. Let's go to third position, first valve. So if you notice, I'm not really playing a true pedal note, but I'm just falling down to where the trumpet feels open and is vibrating freely. And when that happens, it's a really cool sensation. Something else that you'll notice is that I'm not taking the mouthpiece off of my face to shift to play down there. It's the same setup. This will significantly help your flexibility, range, endurance, fill in the blank. Let's go on to exercise 2. So right here, it's the same idea, but I just extended the exercise a little bit. So we go up to G, and then later we go even higher to B flat. Let's play this one. So again, I added the little extra note at the end there. All right, so I did this freely without a click, but like I said, as you get comfortable with it, you can do it with the click. I almost forgot. I told you I was going to teach you how to play lip bends. So this is similar to lip slurs, but everything is a lot more fine. So we have smaller movements. All right. So let me play an example for you. I'm going to play number 6 right here on the screen. I'll do that again. Watch my fingers. So this is really promoting flexibility with the tongue and coordination with the tongue and the wind. If you've never done this before, I want you to try something on the mouthpiece. So play the note on the mouthpiece and then slide down slowly. So I just did a gliss there. What you want to do is slide in between, in this case, G and F sharp, and do it slowly on the mouthpiece. Listen to this. Those were 2 notes where I slid slowly. So when I do that into the trumpet is made to play specific notes, but I'm trying to play the notes in between the notes. All right. So you can bend on the trumpet like you did on the mouthpiece. Go ahead and play with that. It's very helpful when you play solos, especially. This is this type of practice is what allows us to what I call fine tune in the section. So of course you want to get your tuning slide in the right area, but then after that you don't want to keep moving your tuning slide all day. You're supposed to listen and use your ears and then the tongue to fine tune. A great book that uses this concept is the book Flexus by Laurie Frink and John McNeil. All of the book recommendations will be in the comment section for you. Go ahead and click it. It's an affiliate link, no extra cost to you, and you'll be happy that you're practicing some good material. All right, I'm going to play number 6 to give you a model. And then you rest for about as long as you play, which is why I'm talking to you right now. No hurry here. Then you get right back on it. I'm playing the first note as written, and the second note I'm fingering as written, and then I'm playing the third note with the proper fingering. But for everything else, I'm shifting the tongue, and I can really feel the shift. It's very gradual. It's very gradual. Let's do one more. Start on F, slide down to E. Something else I can say about this that might be helpful for you is that the wind speed is pretty constant. It's not shifting really. It's the tongue that's just moving up and down, back and forth, if you will. Yeah, up and down, slightly forward and up, and then down and back. That's really the only thing that's changing. All right, let's do one more. Start on E and go to E flat. And those are your lip bends. Practice those. That's a good thing to do to start the day. You know, you don't have to play like boring, straight, flat, long tones. You can do lip bends. That's one thing that you can do to make things a little more interesting. Remember to download your free guide, Master Endurance on Trumpet, and click or tap on the video on the screen to continue your learning, and I'll be there with you. God bless. See you soon.